Well, hey, Prosperity Collabs, welcome back. I'm excited about today's I said it every time, and I got to find a new way to open the podcast, but I am excited about today's conversation with John Reyes. We're going to be talking about tech in real estate, which is one of my passions. And John trains about this all over the country, whether that's bringing social media or video or AI into your business. So this should be an exciting conversation about the cutting edge of real estate. So without further ado, John, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming in. So give me a little background. I know you're a real estate agent. You're also a trainer. How did this all get started?
I'm also a lender as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So my background has always been in sales. I've sold pretty much everything that you can get your hands on. And I started my sales process, like my sales gig, in 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And so I believe that that's important because I have a firm understanding of just sales. Like I want to make my life simple and easy, and I don't want to work too hard in order to convert a client. Now, with that, I graduated from college. In my last quarter of college, getting a degree in business, one of my friends called and said, "You should really check out this company I'm working for. You should check out this industry." Mm-hmm. I said, "What are you selling?" He said, "Mortgages." And I literally said, "What's a mortgage?" You know, my family didn't talk about mortgages. I didn't know anything about anything like that. So I went on out, graduated, walked. The very next day, I started off with a company out in Orange County, and I was pretty much a cold caller, just slanging loans over the phone. And that was my first entry point into the industry. Shortly after that, I opened up my own loan office out here in Rancho Cucamonga. Built a little team. We did well. But what I did is this, and I think this is important to highlight. Whenever you're selling a product or service, I think that it's important for us to not just play in the same game like everybody else, because otherwise it's a matter of who's going to work harder, who's going to make more calls, and I wanted to work more efficiently. So then I started holding trainings for the real estate community. And the trainings were not tech-oriented. They were sales-oriented. So I was teaching sales skills, marketing tactics, conversions, and we were getting really good audiences. And it wasn't until one of my title friends showed up, and this guy's been in the business for decades, and he's like, "How in the world did you get such big hitters?" And I said, "Who are the big hitters?" Because I was clueless at the time. And he's like, that person, and that person. You're onto something. You're doing something well. And that was really the foundation of starting to do trainings more regularly. Mm-hmm. And then I was trying to push another agenda, a different service that I had created, spent a lot of money on developing an online product for the real estate community, but it became pretty much nobody wanted to use it because when the big tech companies had access to our IDX feeds, then my service was no longer even valid. But somebody called me from the California Association of Realtors Conference in San Diego, and they said, "Hey, John, we're over here watching your videos on YouTube." And I said, "You are? Where? In San Diego? That's pretty amazing. Like, you guys are actually watching my videos? Who's watching my videos?" And it was a few different people that were watching my videos that I had posted, not thinking anybody would really see them because this was over a decade ago. Mm-hmm. This was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And in short, that opened up the door of opportunity for me to go on out. I connected with the California Association of Realtors, and then they selected our company to develop the official social media training curriculum for CAR education about 13, 14 years ago. That put us on the map. So CAR was ahead of the game with bringing the content to the realtor community. The realtor community just wasn't really ready to adopt it. It was too new. But the fact that I ended up getting that contract with CAR, it put us on the map for a lot of other organizations across the country. Shortly after that, I connected with Century 21, and then I got a national contract with them. And then, that they're connected to Realogy. And then I just started doing a bunch of other events with other associations, other offices. And I'd get called by this company here, we're looking to do our statewide event. Can you come on out? So that is the long answer of how we ended up here today. We just continuously kept doing our trainings.
Yeah. So tell me about it. I mean, so that's a pretty good span from, you said 13 years ago. And I'm trying to think in my head, right? 13 years ago, what year was that about? That was...
Maybe it was even 14 years. I mean, I stuck with 13 for a while. I feel like I'm saying it for so long. It's
really totally. 14. Yeah. But I mean, so social media really exploded with the iPhone. Right. It changed everything. Because prior to that, it was like, MySpace and, AOL Instant Messenger. Facebook, when it launched, was just for college kids. Right. It was the cool network. It's changed so much. I mean, it's hard to fathom how different our lives are today than they were, just say, in the year 2000. Right. What have you seen have been the biggest changes to the way that we're approaching it or that it's being implemented?
I think one of the biggest changes just has to do with access to information and speed. People want things now. They want things right away. Even before coming on over here, I went and grabbed me something to eat. And the way that I did it is that I went on my phone, I pulled up the app, logged in, ordered, paid through my Apple Pay, and then I received an instant notification. The app is up saying, hey, we're preparing your food. It's going to be ready by this time. And I ended up getting a notification 1 minute before that everything was ready. And so I think that that's what it comes down to. It's like the whole Amazon mentality. Amazon, I don't buy anything that I'm not going to get within 2 days or less.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find another product. Usually I'm getting products delivered same day because I live in Ontario and we have the largest distribution center for Amazon in the world, 2.2 million square feet. So I could order something in the morning and have it delivered by the afternoon. It's pretty amazing. And so I think it's just about speed. Agents have realized that they need to be quick, they need to be fast. And then in addition to that, I mean, what do most people do? They walk around like a bunch of zombies on their cell phone. They're obsessed with their cell phone. They're looking at it as they're walking through the store. They're scrolling through videos as they should be shopping or spending time with their family. And so I think that that's one of the things that I'm seeing now. More and more agents are adopting the use of video marketing specifically just to get their message in front of their clients.
Yeah. Well, I think, video is such a powerful tool because it allows me to create a one-on-one relationship, but I'm really one-to-many, right? So I can speak to you, and if I'm good, I can speak through that screen. And now we're developing a relationship where you feel like you know me, even though we've never met. So when we do have that first phone call or that first contact, it's not a cold call. It's kind of a warm call because you have a sense that you know me, just like I hate to use the word celebrity, but just like we think we know celebrities. We don't know them, but we've encountered them so much that they're familiar to us. And so this gives us an opportunity to create familiarity that a postcard just could not do in the past. So yeah, it is crazy. I mean, I've got this studio here in my office, right? We're sitting here and I'm looking at 3 cameras. I've got a switcher. I've got my little Zoom recorder. I've got the microphones. To do the production that we're doing here literally in a corner of my office would have taken a building, 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Now anybody can create an entire film studio literally just here, right? And just flip, and I'm doing the editing on the fly. It's amazing how democratized it's all become, right?
I think that's one of the biggest opportunities for us is that with the advancements of technology, it's making it so much easier for us that it's really eliminating the excuse for a lot of real estate agents that they cannot use, which is, I don't know how, because I can grab my cell phone, I can record a video, and then I should have a microphone, but hey, I don't have a microphone on me, so I'm recording in my device directly. It's a little bit noisy, and I could upload that video directly to various apps. One of my favorites is Captions. I upload it to Captions. I click a button that says denoise. All of a sudden, my voice is extremely clear, and then I can add captions to the video. And if I want to edit the video with just a few taps, I can choose various editing options. And it's to the point that I was in the middle of something. I had a real estate agent record a video and he sent it to me from Orlando, Florida, just to say, hey, John, look, I did what you taught me. What do you think? And he's reading the script. So his eyes are looking up at the script and he's reading. I took that video, I put it into the Captions app. I corrected his eyes so that way now he's looking directly at the screen, added the captions, denoised it, added some music, sent it over to him within a matter of minutes, all while I was in the middle of doing something else. It was just so simple.
Yeah.
And he is like blown away. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. And I love this man because he's in his 70s, but he's like, hey, I don't care. I'm out here, I'm doing it, and there's no excuse. And he just had a much better production after I sent it over to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a little thing just to look at the camera, right? But an app that can do it, in a way, it's a little freaky because it's just like those are your eyes, but they're not your eyes, but they're eyes. You know what I mean? So Captions app, I mean, I know there are people listening right now who are trying to write this down. What's like the buy-in on something like that?
So the Captions app, I believe, is say $65 per year. You got to pay per year. Now you can pay per month, $9.99, but then you end up paying almost
why
double.
would you do that? Yeah.
And then in order to unlock some of their other features, I think it might be like another $100, or I pay like $225, $250. And that gives me the option to edit my videos. I could use their AI to come up with a script, but I prefer using ChatGPT. So imagine, this is exactly what I did. I was at the airport. I had just finished speaking, doing a ton of sessions in Orlando. And just for fun, I used ChatGPT. I said, write me a script as if you were a client of mine and I want you to make me sound like an absolute superstar, like the man in real estate. And then I took the 30-second clip, uploaded it to captions, chose my avatar. I chose this AI person that then read my video, and people thought it was like legit, even though I put a disclaimer that this is not real. This is artificial intelligence speaking on my behalf. But people are like, oh my gosh, like, wow, she really likes you. And because it does look legit, real. It's, I mean, it's not a caricature. It's like a real person.
Yeah.
And then the question is like, how do they do that? And I'm like, I have no idea. All I know is that I paid for it and it makes my life easier. And she literally said, John is like a legend in real estate.
Yeah.
If you're ever thinking about selling your home, this is the guy.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The AI, the AI revolution is happening so quickly. Right. And we look at the internet revolution, and it really was a long rolling implementation if you think about it. Right. I remember I got my first email address in 1996, maybe. Right. But really, it wasn't widely adopted immediately. And then we had the Blackberries and things, but it was still pretty clunky. I remember Net Zero, logging on. The iPhone changed everything. Right. I continue to say that. To the point now, we don't even recognize what the internet is and what it's not, right? And I think AI, gosh, it's moving so quick. It's so many places that I think we're already to the point that people don't realize where it is. It's just everywhere, right? And it's pretty trippy. Where you mentioned, captions is one place you're using it. You mentioned ChatGPT. I think real estate agents are tuned into AI in that most agents I talk to say things like, well, I know it can write my property descriptions. And I'm kind of like, oh, brother, like there's so much more. What do you get like excited about when you see AI in terms of our industry?
So one thing that I do is I keep my ear low to the ground and I'm always listening. If somebody has something to say, somebody's talking about a cool tool, product, or service, I'm all about it. So that way I can make sure that I'm staying at the forefront. So I got 2 new things that I'm doing right now. Well, actually, I'll tell you this with ChatGPT, because a lot of people that I've shared this with, they really are kind of blown away by this. But I have a property that we rent out to traveling nurses in Los Angeles. And it's a new build, so it's a 2024 build. And it took us about 2.5 years to complete the project. And so now that the property's done, we were preparing a welcome guide that we were printing so that way we can give every one of our guests and they can get familiar with the property. Well, we have things like mini split systems and we have electric fireplaces to look cool. So when it came to using the mini split, I pulled up the PDF manual directly from the website. I uploaded the PDF directly to ChatGPT, and then I asked ChatGPT to give me a simplistic breakdown on the steps to use the AC. But I said, I want the simple functions, turning off, turning on, include anything else that you think is important.
Right.
And list it in layman's terms. So ChatGPT read the PDF and then gave me the information, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to cycle the fans. And I was like, dang, I didn't even know this would work. I just figured like, I'll just try it.
Yeah.
And that right there, I thought was really that was really cool.
No, so I've done this, we've had so many changes in the industry with buyer representation, and now we've got you got the non-represented buyer agreement. You got all these different forms. So I've been uploading forms to ChatGPT and saying, write a guide for real estate agents, or write a companion to this, and it'll go through and analyze it. It goes through. I did compare this listing agreement to the new listing agreement and highlight the changes, right? It goes through it. I mean, as a learning tool, it's unbelievable, right? To do, like you said, upload the PDFs. Who's got time to read that whole thing, right?
Yeah. When you talk about the learning tool, you're spot on with that, because I just passed my broker's exam. And I passed it, not just first try, I crushed it. I probably walked out at least with a 90 plus. They don't tell you your score. But what I did is that I would take the questions and the answers, because I paid for the crash course like most people will do.
Of course, yeah.
And then what I did is I put questions into ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to give me the answer, but also to explain why the others are wrong. Yeah. Because I didn't want to just do memorization.
Right.
So then ChatGPT gave me the answers, and then I would click to play, and then the voice reading it was like my friend reading it. Very natural. And so I was like, wow, like this thing is just so awesome. Almost anything that I try just to figure out works. But let me share with you another really cool AI tool that I'm implementing right now. So now I have a listing. You're a real estate agent. My phone's going to be blown up. Hey, John, are you open to offer? Is your seller looking to offer a compensation? Like kind of what the deal is. We can't put it on the MLS. Now you can call. I give you a number that's on the MLS. You call into the number, and then my AI assistant will talk to you and ask you questions to identify whether or not you are a buyer or whether or not you're a real estate agent. If you are a real estate agent, we ask even for your license number. There's some sort of a verification process, and then we can deliver the information to you.
Cool.
If it's a buyer that's coming to me directly, then my AI assistant will find out whether or not it's a buyer, go through a cycle of questions, ask questions, and then go in for the kill shot, which is, would you like to schedule a one-on-one consultation with John? And then they say yes, they give me the information, sends it right on over to me. And then that same AI resource now allows me to tell my client, hey, listen, my AI assistant is going to help us out in our quest to find you the perfect home. So call into this number, and then I'll explain to them what the AI does. But what it'll do is, as I tell you, I'm like, hey, Chris, tell me about the perfect home. What are you looking for? Bedroom count, bathroom count. Give me specifics. You want an open floor concept? You want whatever. I want the spout that comes out right above the sink. Now, this AI, what it'll do is it'll take all that information and it will crawl the MLS and also include crawling the photos. And then it will prepare a list of properties that are going to be most specific based off of our conversation.
Wow.
So there's an art form behind me asking the right questions and getting you to talk. But then now how much easier does that make it?
Right.
And in my process, I was working with a client, $150,000 or less, 55 and over community. It was going to be a manufactured home, and she has to own the land because she can't afford the land lease. And I'm thinking, there's no way that this thing is going to figure this out. I'm so specific, and there's already limited inventory. Sure enough, it came up. I compared it with the time that I spent trying to go through the MLS to find her listings. And I was like, this is insane. Like, this is absolutely bonkers. So this is where we're at today. I can only imagine where we're going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, you hit on something that I think is important. And my son and I were having a conversation this already, because AI is going to change a lot of things, right? Like right now, I was sharing with how I process podcasts, and I basically, there's X number of jobs that don't exist anymore, because I can feed the film into the AI, I can feed the sound into the AI, I can fill the transcript in the AI, and it's going to produce the content I need. But if you don't know how to ask the right questions, then the AI is useless. And you just nailed it. Like it's not going to find it unless I can ask it the right questions, so it has the parameters it needs. And I think that's, it's interesting. You look at, that's going to be the art and the science. And in terms of a real estate agent, if I'm doing a home search for somebody, it's not just a matter of 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's asking you the questions, having the knowledge of homes, so that I can pair you up with what you're looking for, right? And prioritize those things. I think that's huge. That sounds like an incredible tool. Is this something you created, or is this a product that's out there, or what is this?
So it's a product right now that's flying low. It's under the radar because what they're doing is that they're connecting with certain agents and giving them access and kind of go through the service with them. And it's already working, but at the same time, we're identifying maybe some key points, just sharing them with the developers. Yeah, but it'll be something that will be hitting the market, I'm sure, probably soon, very soon. And I think that it's going to open up a world of opportunity. I mean, it just makes us seem so much more professional. And what I'm not doing is that I said, I don't want the AI to act as a person for me, although it can, because the way that they speak, there's patterns of their voice and fluctuations. It sounds pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think it's cool just to say, hey, this is the AI assistant of John Reyes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, if I'm a lawyer and I'm a high-powered defense attorney, let's say, I'm not doing the research, right? I'm telling my team, hey, we need to find blank to get, this defense. So I need to get you in that. And then they're doing all that research. They're preparing it for me, and I'm reviewing it. That's what the AI does, right? But if I don't know court or case law well enough to direct it in the right direction, I can't ask that question. And so I think, as a real estate agent, this doesn't devalue what you do. You have a higher value now. It's just taking, and it's not just real estate. It will be law, right? It's going to be a lot of industries where you're taking that, I don't know, the weight of the team now, and you've now got it in the AI. And, again, one man can do the job of X number of people on that research there, being able to ask the interesting question, right? And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. So that's one place you're seeing it kind of in the research assistant, right? Customer care kind of thing. What are some of the other things you don't think real estate agents are tuned into right now?
I think with the overall opportunity for even just client outreach. So, for example, I have another AI service that I have many clients, online leads, and many of these online leads I haven't touched in some capacity. I have my own sphere of influence. I have people that are within my network. So now I have this new AI resource that we are implementing to call my leads for me. And the purpose of them calling is because now I'm scheduling a webinar. I'm going to be doing these webinars consistently to educate buyers about the whole changes of BRBC, all of that. And so now it's one thing for me to send an email. It's another thing for me to send a text. But when my AI assistant can call as well and reach on out and say, this is the AI assistant calling to invite you to, and the people on the other end, it's not just a voice recording. It's not like a slide dial where we're just like recording a message and sending it out. They can have a full-blown dialogue with the AI. And then I go in and I prompt and I help engineer the AI with their responses just to make sure that it's set ready to go. Okay, now you're going to hit my leads. Now you're going to hit my sphere of influence. And I want you to call these people and, for example, wish them happy anniversary. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do that because I don't want to depersonalize it too much, but this is really where it could go. I would rather use the AI assistant than not reach out to my client and wish them a happy anniversary, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's where it could really kick into gear. And then other things as well. When you do something like circle prospecting, I mean, you can take the leads list, you can run them through the DNC, upload them to your system, and I'm paying 11 cents a minute. So I'm paying 11 cents a minute for my name to get out there. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. I say, okay, they make 500 calls. And they connect with 10% of the people and they say my name, AI assistant for John Reyes. My name got out there 50 times. What did that cost me? In terms of time value of money, I'll do it all day long, especially if I can be consistent with doing it in my market.
Yeah. I think you have this opportunity to go through your database, export your notes into the AI, and then just, it can tell you, who do you need to call this week? Who haven't you talked to in this amount of time? Who do you need to follow up with, right? What would be a good touch for X number of people? I think it really does. It takes your relationship management to the next level. And I would want, I'm using ChatGPT. I'm kind of a power user, I think. One of the things it can't do is get into the social network, right? I can't have my ChatGPT log into my Facebook at this point.
Right.
But man, once I can, now it can crawl my Facebook friends and create a target list, a conversation list, a what's happening in people's lives, who do you need to send, gifts to, birthday announcements, all that stuff, right? Boom. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Is there any tool right now that would do that for me?
Nothing that I know of.
Yeah. Man.
But right. I think that you're on to something when it's really about the implementation just to get it done. I feel like that's the opportunity. So like there's a CRM that I'm on board with. I came across, I met a developer. I saw this CRM platform that he built and he built it actually for an agent. And this platform, I'm like, man, you ever thought about bringing this to light? This thing is pretty dang amazing. His user interface, his design, everything was just so top notch. But then him and I in discussion were saying, how could we make it easier for real estate agents? Okay, well, what if you had a CRM that when you log into the CRM, you could, of course, use ChatGPT to write your property descriptions, but a lot of agents still don't know how to go about prompting ChatGPT.
Sure.
So now it's like, want to write a property description? Perfect. Write in the address, pull the public records. So at least we know bedroom count, bathroom count, square footage.
Sure.
Is all this correct? Yes. Now tell us about your home. And then we prompt questions. So that way the real estate agent knows what to fill in the blanks. And then boom, they press, it's done. It's just a simple AI ChatGPT integration.
Yeah.
But now we can carry that on over. For example, here are 3 different 12-week email campaigns for you to choose from, all created by AI.
Yep.
Which one would you like? Press a button, automatically implemented into your CRM.
Yeah.
So I think that my point is that's what we're doing right now, is that I'm working with this developer to have more of an integration, almost like a done for you.
Sure.
Or at least one click away to getting done for you.
Totally.
And I feel like from a developer side, that's important because I want to buy my products from Amazon with a couple clicks. I want to order my food from Panera with just a couple taps and then double tap on the side so I can pay, look at my face, don't make me even type in a password.
Yeah.
Like make my life easy.
You know, the AI's ability, because I think property descriptions is where a lot of agents go to immediately, right? But the other day I just uploaded photos from a listing into AI and I had it write a blog based on the photos, right? Write a blog about this home in Murrieta, California, and I gave it the bedrooms, baths, and then it writes a blog and it's referencing the kitchen and the countertops and it's like holy criminy, right? But boom, right there, right? And now you tell it, all right, and give SEO for X, Y, and Z, and you're just you're boom, you've got this incredible asset that you didn't, just in seconds. And so, yeah, to have that built in your CRM is great. And I think that's one of the things that these tools can do is I could say, create, like you said, a 12 email campaign, and it's done in seconds, right? And so it's a copy and paste at that point. Or I could say, write a social media script or, write a newsletter about the Woodcrest neighborhood of Riverside, reference local development and blah, blah, blah. And brink, and now I've got that, or I can do a video looking right at the camera and I can get that all done. It is limitless at this point, So I think there's a certain amount of the population that is freaked out by this. Right? That they look at AI and all they see is Terminator, right? And I always say please when I'm writing because, when they come for our skin, I want them to come for me last or first. I haven't decided which. What do you see as the other side of the coin? What are the ethical considerations, the challenges? Like, where's that line?
One of the first things that I saw when it came to the use of AI is I can't remember the political leader, but there was some sort of AI that had taken the voice of a political leader and it had them speaking, but it wasn't even them. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a podcast. It was with Joe Rogan, and he was like talking about the scary side of this. Like, imagine if they created this AI of, say, the president of the United States, and the AI is a video recording of him saying that, hey, we just fired off a nuclear bomb to North Korea. Like, imagine the ramifications if, like, all of a sudden they're freaked out. Oh my gosh, this is on the news. And then bam, they press the button and they send a missile. And like that kind of stuff legit does scare me because it's like, it's real. It's legit. And there are different services out there where there are celebrity voices and you can pretty much type out any message and then they can say whatever's written there. Mm-hmm. And then now when you have this likeness, and I mentioned to you, I can scan through and choose, I call them avatars, but they're AI figures and they look so dang real that's the side of it that scares me, number one. And then number two, these computers, I don't think people really understand, like AI, it's not Google. It is Google times 1,000, if not more, in terms of like how much information it has, and it's always constantly learning. And so, yes, we did see Terminator, where at some point, how do you control that?
Right.
And I know Elon Musk is a lot smarter than me. And I know that that's one of the concerns that he has is that like, this is dangerous with the things that we are doing because we don't know where that will lead.
Right. Oh, yeah. I think, at the heart of AI, there's a person who programmed parameters, right? And it's not without its bias, right? So if you go and research something, it's not objective. It's going to have the bias of the programmer, right? And so you got to understand that. I think, the deep fake, that opportunity, it's absolutely there. I can go on Descript right now and I can create my own avatar of me. And I looked at that and I thought, that's really cool. And I thought, no, it's not. That's really terrifying. But someone could create that of me using video resources that are available online right now. And they would be able to have a me that they could send videos from saying anything they wanted to, not let alone the president of the United States. It's, conceivably, we're in a situation where in 10 years, you're not going to know what's real and what's not real, right? And that is really, I don't know how we deal with that, right? How do you deal with the network news when you don't know? That is, it's interesting.
One of the movies that I used to really enjoy watching when I was younger was Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And if you kind of remember back then, there were certain aspects of like Demolition Man where it's like, it's kind of coming into form, certain things that were done then, like when Sandra Bullock asked Sylvester Stallone, like, hey, you want to have an intimate moment? And he's like, oh, heck yeah, ripping his shirt off. And then she just puts a thing over her head, like in her eyes. And it's kind of like it's all mental.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, what the hell is this? And so that's kind of where I see things like that occurring, especially when you have something like the Oculus, or it's just, where will that go? I don't know. I thought, I love playing poker, but I get out very often to play poker. But I was just like chatting with one of my friends saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Like I have the headset on, like you have it on, and you're at your table, I'm at mine. And we have like these chips that are already part of the programming. So, we grab these chips and we put them in, and for like kind of that feel. And he's like, John, like, they already have something like that. I was like, they do? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, let me show you. So he kind of gave me some insight on some of the things that they're doing. Well, I don't know. I don't have an Oculus. My wife says that anybody who's over 30 has no reason to have anything that's video game related. So that's why I don't have it.
I look at the Apple Vision Pro, right? And immediately I thought, man, I just want to have that for an airplane. So I can be on an airplane, but totally alone, right? I can sit there and I can read a book in a forest. You know what I mean? Like that's, and I think there is a certain, you look at, gosh, man, okay, the dark side of the internet, right? The internet unlocked pornography on a massive scale, like an unimaginable scale. Now you marry that to AI, and I think you have something that is epidemic. And you look at the effects on developing minds, and yeah, it's pretty terrifying, right? It really is. And now you can essentially go into your virtual reality with that. There's a certain amount of population that as human beings, we're just not wired to deal with that kind of stimulus. It is a little bit, so yeah, there's definitely that side of it. There's a dark side too. How do we manage it?
I have no clue. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not one for the government stepping in and putting their hands in places where they shouldn't, for one thing. But at the same time, I also get and understand, I don't have children, but a lot of my friends who have children just share with me the struggles that they go through or what they're dealing with their kids. And we have back and forth conversations to say, well, how much of that is because of these kids being they're stimulated so much more than what we were, right? Because maybe we were excited to go home and it was like when TiVo came out, when we could record a show and rewatch it, we're like, oh my gosh, like that was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't have TiVo because my dad wouldn't buy it, but when my friends would have it, like that was cool. And then once our cable provider was like, oh, now you can record your shows. It's like, what the heck? Like that was on a whole nother level, but now it's completely different. Like now these kids are having these impressions in their right in front of them constantly, different advertisement. And then now I see these kids that are wanting to, little junior high kids, high school kids that are wanting to wear Prada and Gucci and all this nonsense because of what they're seeing online.
Yeah.
Like back in our day, we had rebels, like we had the guys that were wearing the boots and the Harley Davidson belt buckles. And if you were a rebel, shout out to you. I wasn't, but I used to ask my friends who were like, dude, you're not even old enough to drive a motorcycle. Why are you wearing Harley Davidson?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess we all had our influences, but I do think that some could be more damaging to the mind than others. And definitely I feel like we're dealing with that now. I don't know, when I go to a Starbucks or if I go to like Panera, so many of these young people, I feel that the level of service is not even there like what we provided when we worked at a job.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they're there as if somebody's forcing them to be there, and it's like we don't even get a smile when we walk in anymore. And now I've just accepted it. I'm like, screw it. And by the way, they're going to ask me for a tip just for grabbing my food and giving it to me. It's like, what is wrong with the world? Like, we're definitely in a different world today.
Yeah, I think there's a part of this technology, particularly AI, that if you're not in it using it, then you're not aware of it. You know what I mean? I think there's a level of it. If we're going to have kind of our control of it, then as a population, we're going to have to acknowledge it, and we're going to have to understand it so we can recognize it. Like I was in a situation a couple weeks ago where an email came in from somebody, and it just came off a little bit like, what was this? And someone in the office was like, well, they're kind of, took it like the wrong way. I'm like, no. This is absolutely an AI email. Like, I can tell you, this is, they wrote an email, they had AI write it. They hadn't created their own GPT, so it's written very well, but I can tell you this is an AI email. And I followed up and I'm like, yeah, it is. But because I'm in that every day, I recognize it, right? And I think that's part of this is, man, as a society, we're gonna have to start critical thinking again, And I've been on this kick lately where I'm listening to some of the founding fathers, and it's kind of ridiculous, but I'm doing this: Jefferson, Franklin, the Federalist Papers, and what you realize is those people were bored. I mean, they had so much time where they had nothing to do because there was no TV, there was no radio, there was no internet, there was no phone. So if you went home at night, you got nothing to do other than read or write. And that's what they did. And because of that, they were thinkers. Not just these guys, but the common man. We've become so inundated with just data all the time that we're not sifting anymore. We're not thinking. And if we're going to stay up to date on this stuff, if we're going to live in a world where this stuff doesn't take over, we're going to have to start critically thinking again, or it's just going to lead us down whatever road it wants to. And that's kind of the weird reality of it. But we'll see. I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if we can fix the system, man. It'll be interesting.
And I think for us as real estate professionals, it's even that's really the crux of making sure that we're not just learning how to do things like videos, for example. Very important for sure to help establish more connections with prospects and clients. But I mean, if there was ever a time to step up our game, like now's it. That's why I tell agents constantly, like, you need to know the contract. You need to know the intricacies of that contract, frontwards and backwards. I was talking to somebody just yesterday, and they were telling me what we can't do with the BRBC, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "In section 5, point B, you 100% can." And she's like, "Oh, damn, I should actually read the BRBC."
Oh my gosh,
and that's actually where it's like opportunity for us is fundamentals. Make sure we know our craft. Make sure that we truly understand the value that we're bringing to our clients, and realize that the game has changed. Your clients are going to be in front of so many more people. They already are, but now so many other tools and resources. And I bet there's going to be a ton of money that's pumped in to the use of these AI resources in order to attract clients, pull the clients in themselves. And so you're not just competing with your local real estate agent. We already know that we've been competing with Wall Street. And it's like, we need to just make sure we stay on top of our game. That's why you'll have people, I think, that will take true advantage of it and they'll crush. And then other people that will just say, okay, well, hey, I tried. Maybe I got to look at something else.
Yeah, no, I love that because, I mean, there's so many, I've had so many conversations with agents who are upset or worried about something that isn't in the documents, right? They just don't know the documents. And I think, this conversation about tech and marketing and all those things, it's only valid if you're a professional, right? It's only valid to go out marketing yourself this way if you're a professional. And if you don't know the contracts, if you don't know the market, if you don't know what's trends, the trends, the economic situation, if you can't be the economist of choice for your local market, then all of this stuff, it's not going to help you, right? It's just going to hurt you because people are going to look at that and you're not going to have the validity, right? It can't make you a professional, right? And I think you absolutely nailed it on the head. That's, know your contracts, know those things. This can help you with that, but it can't replace that professional knowledge that you should be bringing to the transaction. Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, what else? I mean, we're kind of coming to the end of our time. What else is like, are you excited about? Are you looking forward towards in the industry? You think that's something we need to be aware of? Obviously, we've had these changes with buyer agency compensation. So what's on your mind right now?
So my thing is for twofold. Agents to really embrace these changes and even think about the whole addition of the BRBC. This is like a reset. When have you ever had a time to hit the reset button where we're all level when it comes to the use of these new documents and the new protocol?
It's $1 billion moment.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that there's going to be a lot of agents that just pull back and they fall off, but really embrace the opportunity. And then what I'm excited about is that right now I'm speaking at events all across the country. And just yesterday when I came on out and I got a hotel out here in Temecula, just so that way I can make it simple and easy to be here today, then I got a call and somebody says, "Hey, look, we're having this big event. We're looking for you to come on out on October 1st. And now I'm going out to Jersey. I'll be in Michigan." So it's really kind of, I feel like a nationwide movement with the real estate community, just saying like, okay, we get it. Video marketing AI, digital, tech, we need it. Where before it would fall on a lot of deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people would take advantage of it. But if I was to give some sort of, we'll say like in closing summary for the real estate community, embrace videos. You should all have a 30 to 60 second video introducing you as a professional. Short, concise, to the point. Who are you? What company do you work with? What market do you service? And what is a value that you bring me as a buyer and seller? So keep it where it's one or two things that you want people to know. Why should they care about you? And then conclude that with a call to action. If you're thinking about buying or selling, I'd love the opportunity to talk to you. Give me a call. And at the same time, also just recognize that video, when you create content and you educate people, it's one of your best opportunities to establish trust with clients. And when clients trust you, they want to work with you. So I think that in closing, it's just knowing that when you go out and you start the process of creating, you might not see results right away, but it's just like anything that's worth it. It's like working out. You start working out right away. We go home and we flex in the mirror for us men, and we're like, dang, where are the muscles? Like I just did a whole, weight set for the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's not until you establish it and do it time after time and really build a foundation where it's just now part of your business. So level up, offer greater value to your clients. And I think it's an unprecedented opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would add is know who you're talking to. Right? If you talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody. Mm-hmm. So really talk to the people you want to talk to. I love Seth Godin and in all of his writings, but he says it so clearly, like you're not Coca-Cola, right? You're not. You're not. You need, what does he say? Like 99 raving fans or 1,000 raving fans. If you have, as a real estate agent, if you have 500 raving fans, you want for nothing, right? So how do I overserve those people? But you're right. Video gives you an unprecedented advantage in creating a relationship before you have the opportunity to sit in. All right, John, where can people find you online?
You can check me out on Instagram is one place. I connect with a lot of agents there. JD Reyes 01. So JD Reyes 01, or just go to my website, John D as in David. So johndreyes.com.
All right. Well, hey, Prosperity Collabs, hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. You can find John online at the above mentioned places. We'll put it down in the notes. And hey, don't forget to click the link to get your agent action guide from today's episode. And we'll catch you guys next time.